Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive breakdown of one of the most talked about moments in British daytime television history. Picture this, the bustling studio of ITV's Loose Women, that iconic panel show where women from all walks of life come together to dissect everything from celebrity gossip to global politics with unfiltered candor and a dash of cheeky humor. It's October 2025. And the air is already thick with anticipation as the audience settles in for what promises to be another lively episode. The lights dim slightly before flaring up, the theme music swells with its empowering beats, and out walks the host, Kay Adams, her smile as bright as ever, flanked by the regular panelists, the ever-opinionated Janet Streetporter, the glamorous Nadia Sawalha, and none other than Denise Welch, the fiery Geordie actress who's been a staple on the show for over 2 decades, known for her no-holds-barred takes on everything from mental health advocacy to royal family scandals. But today, the guest list has a special twist. Entering the fray is the inimitable Bill Nighy, the silver-haired British acting legend whose dry wit and impeccable timing have charmed audiences in films like Love Actually, Pirates of the Caribbean, and the recent art house darling State of the Nation. At 75, Nighy is promoting his latest project, a poignant drama about aging gracefully in a youth-obsessed world, and one might think this aligns perfectly with Loose Women's ethos of celebrating women of all ages. Yet, as the cameras roll and the applause dies down, there's an undercurrent of tension in the room, something unspoken hanging in the air like a storm cloud over the Thames. Kay kicks things off with her trademark warmth, introducing Bill with effusive praise. "Bill, it's an absolute thrill to have you here. You've embodied so many unforgettable characters, from the undead Davy Jones to the heartbroken Daniel in Love Actually. Tell us, what's it like stepping into the shoes of this new role, a man grappling with irrelevance in modern society?" Bill, ever the gentleman, leans into the microphone with that signature slouch, his voice a velvety drawl laced with self-deprecating humor. "Well, Kay, it's rather like being asked to dance at a party where everyone's already paired off. You shuffle in, hope no one notices the creak in your knees, and pray the music doesn't stop before you've made a fool of yourself." The audience chuckles appreciatively, the panel nods along, and for a moment, it feels like the perfect synergy of Hollywood gravitas meeting daytime tele-charm. But then, as the conversation meanders toward themes of gender dynamics in the film, how older women are often sidelined even more brutally than men, Denise Welch shifts in her seat, her eyes narrowing ever so slightly. She's no stranger to these discussions as a vocal feminist and survivor of her own battles with depression and industry sexism. Denise has built her career on calling out hypocrisy wherever she sees it. "Bill, love, that's all well and good for the blokes," she interjects with her characteristic bluntness, her Newcastle accent cutting through like a northern gale. "But let's not pretend you've had it half as hard as the lasses in this game. I've been typecast as the mad bird or the feisty mum since I was 30, while you get to play brooding pirates into your 70s. Where's the justice in that?" The studio falls into a hush, broken only by a smattering of applause from the more progressive corners of the audience. Bill pauses, his fingers drumming lightly on the table, a flicker of surprise crossing his patrician features. He's not one to shy away from a debate, after all. His roles often demand a certain intellectual sparring, but this feels personal, unscripted, and pointed. "Denise, I couldn't agree more," he replies smoothly, though there's a edge to his tone now, like velvet over steel. "The industry's a bloody meat grinder for everyone, but yes, women bear the brunt. My character in the film learns that the hard way, watching his wife fade into obscurity while he clings to the spotlight. It's not autobiography, mind you, but it's a wake-up call." The exchange garners nods from Janet and Nadia, who chime in with their own anecdotes about ageism in broadcasting, turning the moment into what could have been an enlightening roundtable. Yet, Denise isn't done leaning forward, her bangles jangling like warning bells. She presses on. "A wake-up call, Bill, darling. We've been screaming from the rooftops for years. You lot swan in with Oscars and BAFTAs, and we're left scraping for the odd soap role. It's not just unfair, it's infuriating." The word infuriating lands like a gauntlet thrown, and Bill's eyebrow arches, That famous sardonic quirk that has disarmed critics and co-stars alike? The audience senses the shift. Murmurs ripple through the rows. Phones are discreetly pulled out to capture the drama unfolding in real time. Kay, ever the skilled moderator, tries to steer the ship. Fascinating points all around. Let's hear more from Bill on how the film addresses these imbalances. But the damage is done. The cordial chat has tipped into confrontation, and as the segment stretches toward its commercial break, the heat between Bill and Denise simmers, threatening to boil over. Little do viewers at home know, this is just the prelude to chaos, a spark that will ignite one of the most viral TV meltdowns of the year. As the ads roll, backstage whispers begin. Producers exchanging worried glances, the floor manager hovering like a nervous chaperone. Bill, sipping water from a branded bottle, mutters to his publicist about spirited debate turning sour, while Denise, powdering her nose in the green room, vents to a colleague. He's a lovey through and through. Time someone called him on it. Back on set, the panel regroups, but the energy has changed. Charged, electric, like the moments before a thunderstorm. When the show resumes, Kay dives straight back in, hoping to salvage the goodwill, but Denise has other plans. Sorry to jump in again, but Bill, you can't just nod along and call it today. What's your solution, then? More roles for us wrinklies? Or are you happy with the status quo? Bill's response is measured at first, a diplomat's deflection. Denise, I'm all for change. I've lobbied for better representation myself, but shouting matches won't rewrite the scripts. The retort stings, and Denise's cheeks flush, her voice rising an octave. Shouting? This is passion, Bill. You know about that if you'd ever been dismissed for your gender instead of your talent. The audience gasps collectively, a wave of ooze sweeping the studio, and suddenly, it's not a discussion anymore. It's a duel. Two titans of stage and screen locked in verbal combat. Janet tries to mediate with a quip. Ladies and gentlemen, if this were a film, we'd be selling tickets. But laughter is sparse now. Tension grips the room like a vice. Bill, uncharacteristically rattled, straightens up, his voice dropping to that low, ominous timbre he perfected as Underworld's Victor. Passion is one thing, Denise, but badgering a guest on live telly? That's not advocacy, that's ambush. The word ambush echoes, and Denise fires back without missing a beat. Ambush, try surviving 25 years on this sofa without a thick skin. You film stars flit in and out, we bleed for this platform. The back and forth escalates, words flying like sparks from a flint. Accusations of privilege, retorts about entitlement, each barb sharper than the last. Viewers glued to their screens at home are divided. Some tweet support for Denise's raw honesty, #Team Welch, others decry the bullying of a national treasure. #Poor Bill. In the control booth, producers huddle, debating whether to cut to break early, but ratings whisper in their ears, this is gold, pure unadulterated drama. As the argument peaks, Bill stands abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor like a declaration of war. I've had quite enough of this circus, he declares, his face a mask of controlled fury, veins subtly pulsing at his temples. Thank you for the invitation, but I won't be patronized on air. Gasps erupt from the audience, Kay's eyes widen in horror, and Denise, undeterred, calls after him, running away. Bill, that's rich coming from Mr. Stoic. The studio descends into pandemonium, a crew member scrambling, lights flickering as if in sympathy, the audience a mix of cheers and boos. Security edges forward from the wings, not aggressively but prepared, while Bill strides toward the exit, his coattails flapping like a cape in retreat. Producers, faces pale behind the glass, signal frantically, cut now. But it's too late. The feed lingers a beat too long, capturing Bill's parting glare over his shoulder, a look that could curdle milk. As the screen fades to black for an emergency ad break, social media erupts. Bill Nighy Loose Women trends within minutes. Memes proliferate of Bill's eyebrow raise captioned "When feminism hits too close to home," and clips are shared across platforms from TikTok to Twitter, amassing millions of views overnight. Backstage, chaos reigns. Bill's team demands an apology, Denise's defenders rally around her as a truth teller, and ITV execs convene an emergency meeting to assess the fallout. This isn't just a spat, it's a cultural flashpoint, exposing the fault lines between celebrity privilege and everyday grit, between scripted poise and unvarnished rage. And as the world watches, one question burns brightest: was Denise the villain, or was Bill the wake-up call the industry needed? The story doesn't end here, though far from it. In the hours that follow, statements fly thick and fast. Bill's publicist releases a terse note about respectful discourse. Denise goes live on Instagram, makeup still flawless, declaring, "I stand by every word." A conversation starts with confrontation. The panel, caught in the crossfire, issues a collective plea for calm, but the damage is done. Loose Women, that bastion of female empowerment, now faces scrutiny. Is it a safe space or a gladiatorial arena? Bill, retreating to his London flat overlooking the park, reflects over a stiff gin and tonic, wondering if the interview was worth the headache. Denise, meanwhile, fields calls from allies like her Coronation Street co-stars, who laud her bravery. The incident ripples outward, sparking debates in pubs, offices, and online forums about the role of daytime TV in holding power to account. Pundits dissect every frame. Was Bill's exit dramatic flair or genuine hurt? Did Denise cross the line from debate to domination? Clips are poured over by media scholars, fueling think pieces in The Guardian and The Sun alike. At the day Loose Women lost its loose, one headline quips, "Celebrities weigh in." Emma Thompson tweets solidarity with Bill, calling it a masterclass in awkward, while Judi Dench, ever the dame, posts a cryptic emoji of a raised glass, ambiguously toasting both. As night falls on that fateful day, the incident cements itself in the annals of TV lore, a reminder that behind every polished broadcast lies a powder keg of human emotion. But tomorrow brings more press conferences, apologies perhaps, or doubles down defiance. For now, though, the echo of Bill's footsteps exiting stage left lingers, a symphony of scandal that will play on repeat for weeks to come. And in the heart of it all, two icons forever linked by a moment of unbridled truth. Fast forward a few hours, and the media machine kicks into overdrive, churning out headlines that scream from every digital front page and tabloid rack. Nighy flees feminist fury. Blares the Daily Mail, complete with paparazzi shots of Bill ducking into a black cab outside the ITV studios, his scarf pulled high against the autumn chill or perhaps the metaphorical arrows. The Guardian, ever the intellectual counterpoint, opts for nuance. When celebrity meets candor, the Loose Women showdown that exposed Hollywood's gender chasm. Twitter or X, as it's stubbornly called, is a battlefield, with #LooseWomen meltdown garnering over 500,000 mentions in the first hour alone. Algorithms pushing the clip to every feed from Land's End to John O'Groats. Fans of Bill, that legion of rom-com devotees who still quote his "to me, you are perfect" line from Love Actually like scripture, flood the platform with outrage. Disgraceful. Let the man promote his film in peace. #boycott Loose Women. Counter hashtags rise like phoenixes. #Denise did nothing wrong. Championed by younger demographics who see in her the unapologetic auntie they wish they had. Sharing gifs of her most iconic TV rants from Waterloo Road to her Big Brother stint. YouTube reactors at those earnest millennials dissecting drama for clicks. Upload breakdowns within the hour, their thumbnails a collage of Bill's furrowed brow and Denise's defiant point. Was this cancel culture or a call-out culture? One title ponders, racking up 200,000 views before breakfast. ITV, caught between Scylla and Charybdis, releases a boilerplate statement. Loose Women prides itself on honest conversations. We regret any discomfort caused and are in dialogue with all parties. But transparency is the name of the game now, and whispers leak from insiders. Producers had prepped Bill for a lively debate, but no one anticipated the personal pivot. Denise, true to form, doesn't wait for corporate spin. She commandeers her Instagram live at 8 p.m. sharp, the glow of her ring light casting heroic shadows on her face. "Listen, loves," she begins, her voice steady as a surgeon's hand, "I didn't set out to ruffle feathers. Bill Nighy's a class act, a underworld genius. But when he glosses over the double standard, someone had to say it. And if that's me getting the boot from polite society, so be it." Her follower count surges by 50,000 overnight, a mix of die-hard supporters and curious newcomers drawn to the fray. Bill, contrastingly media-shy, lets his agent do the talking to BBC Radio 4's Today program the next morning. My client was there in good faith to discuss his work. What transpired was regrettable, but Bill values Denise's passion even if the delivery was robust. The subtext is clear, gracious in defeat, but not without a jab. As the day unfolds, the incident becomes fodder for late-night monologues across the pond. James Corden, exiled in LA but still UK proud, dedicates a segment to it on his Netflix special, reenacting Bill's exit with exaggerated flair, complete with a fake limp for comic effect. "It's like if Mr. Bean crashed a suffragette meeting," he quips, drawing guffaws from the studio audience. Back home, Breakfast TV dissects it ad nauseum. Good Morning Britain's Susanna Reid hosts a split-screen debate, one side featuring a feminist academic praising Denise's raw authenticity, the other a showbiz correspondent lamenting the hostile environment for guests. Ratings for Loose Women spike 40% the following day, as morbid curiosity draws viewers hoping for round 2 or an apology tour. The panel reconvenes without Bill, of course, but with extra security in the wings, just in case. Kay opens with a somber nod. "Yesterday was passionate, perhaps too much so, but it's those moments that make us human." Janet piles on with her gravelly wisdom. "Darlings, I've argued with worse over tea, let's move on, or shall we invite Bill back for tea in sympathy?" Laughter ripples, tentative at first, then genuine, as Nadia shares a story of her own on-set clash with a diva director. Denise, seated front and center, wears her defiance like armor, a bold red blouse that screams and boat. "I sleep like a baby," she confesses when pressed. "If speaking truth costs me a chummy chat, I'll take the bill, a pun intended." The audience swoops, and for a moment, the studio heals, a collective exhale after the storm. But outside, the narrative spins wilder. Tabloids unearth old clips of Denise's feuds, from her 2011 X Factor stint where she clashed with Tulisa over manufactured pop, to her vocal defense of Meghan Markle against palace intrigue, painting her as Loose Women's resident firebrand. Bill's camp counters with dossiers of his advocacy, donations to women's shelters, cameos and female-led indies, positioning him as the unsung ally blindsided by zealotry. Pundits pile on. A Spectator column dubs it the clash of the entitled, arguing daytime TV's faux folksy format breeds resentment toward posh guests like Bill. Feminists retort in The New Statesman. Nighy's exit underscores the rage of women tired of being polite while the world burns. The discourse deepens into sociology, with academics at the LSE hosting emergency webinars on celebrity as collateral in gender wars. Meanwhile, brands circle like vultures. A mental health charity approaches Denise for a campaign on Speaking Your Truth, while Bill's film distributor rushes forward alternative promo spots, framing the drama as buzz and press releases. By evening, parody sketches air on BBC Three's End Up where Bill returns as a vampire, sucking the drama out of the room. And Saturday Night Live teases a cold open for next week. The incident even bleeds into politics. Labour MP Jess Phillips tweets, "Denise Welch 4 p.m. She sort Westminster's Old Boys Club in a day," sparking a petition that garners 10,000 signatures. As the sun sets on day 2, the world is richer for the revelation. Beneath the glamour and gab, TV is a mirror to our divides, and this mirror has cracked spectacularly. Bill, nursing the quiet evening with a first edition Dickens, chuckles at a friend's text, "Fancy a rematch over pints?" Denise, toasting with mates in a Soho bar, replies to a fan DM, "Keep fighting the good fight, pet." The feud fades not with a bang, but with a wry smile, proof that even in cancellation's shadow, reconciliation lurks. Yet, the cultural aftershocks linger, prompting Loose Women to announce a special episode on healthy debate versus toxic takedowns, inviting therapists and comics to unpack the mess. Viewers tune in droves, turning tragedy into teachable, clickable gold. And somewhere, in a parallel universe, Bill and Denise share a panel at the BAFTAs, laughing over the lunacy, their clash recast as legend. For now, though, the script of scandal continues to write itself, one tweet, one think piece at a time. Delving deeper into the psyches of our protagonists reveals layers upon layers of motivation, making this blow-up not just tabloid tinder, but a tapestry of personal history woven into public spectacle.